What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this edition of the Chop Block Sports Talk podcast. I, of course, am 1/3 of the podcast. My partners in crime, as usual, on this Saturday evening, Miami J and Jay Blaze. Jay Blaze, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well.
All right, good stuff, man. Miami J, what's up with you?
Doing great, man. I apologize for my weird angle today. I'm having to do this from my iPad, but
yeah, it looks like you're in a closet.
The angle's really weird.
Yeah. It looks like you're in a closet somewhere. That's funny as shit. Okay, we're going to obviously our main topic is going to be the Mike Tyson fight, but as usual, we are going to start with the soccer minute. So, the U.S. men's national team won against Jamaica 1-0. And the headline here is U.S. men's national team shows fight that Pochettino demands in win versus Jamaica. So Miami J, what are your thoughts on this particular win? Was this a good win, a bad win? Does it not matter? What are your thoughts? Unmute your microphone, please.
Real competitive game.
Okay.
I talked a lot about. Well, first off, let me get this out of the way. So
okay.
Pochettino's already matched the number of wins that Greg Berhalter got in 6 years away in this region.
Stop it.
So just gonna throw that out.
God, okay, all right then.
Yeah, Berhalter only managed to win against Honduras in a competitive game in CONCACAF.
Wow.
And for 6 years, actually for longer than that, since the Bruce Arena days, the media kept feeding us this stuff about how you cannot win away in CONCACAF. The fields are crappy, the conditions suck, the fans are too rowdy, blah, 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 blah. Pochettino just proved that with a talented team, if you set them up the right way, you can do it. And that was evident in this game in that Pochettino, Donovan, we talked about this before, where under Berhalter, players would get the ball, and you could tell they were thinking about what they had to do.
Right.
You could tell under Pochettino, these guys have freedom. They were interchanging across the field. They were taking the ball, running at players. I will say Pulisic pulled a great move to assist Ricardo Pepi's goal. He got the ball, turned around, split two defenders, and juked the third one to make the pass. It was beautiful.
All right, good.
So, it wasn't a perfect game because, again, it is CONCACAF, and I will admit that it is hard to play in those conditions when the field really, you had chunks of grass flying all over the place. So that's not easy, but it is a winnable game. Now what we're looking for is on Monday, the U.S. plays Jamaica again for leg 2 of the matchup. They play in St. Louis. The U.S. needs to win this game 5-0.
Wow.
That's what we're looking for. That's what we want. That's what we need.
Okay.
And, a convincing win on Monday will make it so that the fan base can start getting excited about this team again.
Okay.
Because after the 2022 World Cup, the Berhalter rehiring, nobody's been on board for this team unless you're somebody like me who's a diehard fan. So that's where we're at. Shout out to Pulisic. To me, he was the player of the game.
Okay.
And Matt Turner had a really good game too. That was really good for his confidence. So let's wait and see what happens Monday. Next week, we'll tell you guys all about it.
Okay, good. Great. Awesome. So Gennard says, I'm mad like Jake did hell. I think he might have been trying to say something else. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get to the main topic, the main event, pun definitely intended. And that, of course, is last night's, I don't know if you want to call it a bout, title bout, whatever the case may be. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Jake Paul won decisively. He won by unanimous decision. It was pretty clear very, very quickly. This was a weird fight. Mike Tyson only landed 18 punches. I mean, it just doesn't, he just did not throw that many punches. And I know he's 58, but I mean, I expected a little bit more. And I don't know, something appeared to be wrong with Tyson's legs. He didn't really move that well. He wasn't cutting off the ring like he was in the first 30 to 40 seconds of the round. I'll tell you this. Tyson looked his best. Probably the first 45 seconds of round 1. Because if you watched and you paid attention, it was clear that Mike Tyson was the hunter and Jake Paul was the huntee. Jake Paul, you could tell, was scared of the potential power of Mike Tyson, and he looked scared. You could see it. But as the round wore on, Paul got a little bit more comfortable, kind of figured out, okay, Mike can't really move that well, so all I got to do is stick the jab, stick and move, stick and move. That's what he did pretty much the whole fight. Mike could never corner him. He could never really get him against the ropes. He didn't really attack. After, I would say, the 45-second mark of the first round, it was pretty much all she wrote. So let me go to Jay Blaze first here. What are your thoughts on the Tyson fight, or the Tyson versus Paul fight?
I'll just say who were the winners. The winners were Jake Paul
And Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, and the blonde ring girl.
Oh my God, dude, she was bad.
Dude, she was bad.
Oh my God, yeah.
So she got a ton of attention. Jake Paul got 40 million from this fight.
Okay.
Mike Tyson got 20.
Okay. All right.
And dude, if you look at his Tyson's training videos, he was a lot faster. He was moving really well. And dude, Tyson, he would always rotate his body and just use hooks throughout his career.
Yeah.
He didn't do any of that.
None of that.
And you had Jake, who would go inside sometimes with a jab, and you'd think Tyson would just come out really quick with a hook. He didn't do any of it.
No, he did not. It was weird.
So I almost, dude, it was very disappointing. It was just, I don't want to say it was staged, but it looked staged.
Okay. All right. What are your thoughts, Miami J?
Well, first off, I'll say I think there was another winner that we didn't mention, and that's Netflix.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
20 million.
Other than the buffer, I think they had a lot of buffering issues. I saw a lot of that in the internet. I didn't have any, thankfully, but they were definitely winners here. To me, honestly, it was a tale of two fights.
Yeah.
I think the first 3 rounds were pretty even with a slight advantage to Tyson.
Okay.
And after that, he just fell apart.
Yeah.
After that, Jake Paul's, I don't know if it was his youth or Tyson's age started to show, but Jake Paul just kind of took over. And he didn't really do much. Tyson kind of self-exploded. He left himself open.
Yep.
And he wasn't really landing anything. So that's pretty much it. But I agree. I mean, the winners here were Tyson, Paul, the blonde girl, and Netflix.
And the blonde. Yeah, pretty much.
I will say I'm one of the idiots that fell into the trap of betting for Tyson. So,
okay.
All
right. Well, hey, listen. At least it wasn't it wasn't that much, I suppose, relative.
No.
Vegas obviously won as well. They wanted to hype this thing up. I remember in the post fight. Now the post fight interview, that was cool. That was classy. The Paul brothers, or Jake Paul at least, giving Mike Tyson his flowers, one of the greatest of all time, knockout artist, baddest man on the planet, all that good stuff. But I remember, I think Jake Paul said that he wants to continue and be a champion. I'm going to tell you right now, that will never, ever, 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 ever happen. Listen, I commend Jake Paul for learning a new skill. Boxing is not easy. There's a lot of stress. I mean, it's not just punching. You got to know angles. You got to know how to throw a punch. You got to know how to not tell. I mean, there are many. This is why they call it the sweet science, because boxing is not just two dudes in the ring hitting each other. No, there is a method to the madness. And it's interesting. The phrase method to the madness originated with boxing because, again, boxing just looks barbaric. But for those of us who really, really pay attention, you can see the nuances, the intricacies of boxing. And I think the best example of that was the first fight of the night. It was a couple of YouTube stars. That fight was sloppy as fuck. The guy was dropping the Indian guy was dropping his hands, showboating this and that, and then he did the hump thing. I was like, what are we doing here? Then, of course, the best fight of the night was the second fight of the night with the title fight with Ramos versus Barrios. Ramos almost pulled off the fucking upset. But that ended up in a draw. Hopefully, listen, I'm here for that rematch. And if there's a rematch there, I'm definitely going to watch that fight because that fight did not turn out like I thought it would. Barrios was way ahead early, and Ramos, I don't know, he caught a second win like in the 4th or 5th round, and I think he knocked down Barrios in the 6th, and it was on from there. Dude, both of their faces after the fight looked like a fucking Rocky movie. It was incredible. That was the best fight of the night. But when you watch Barrios versus Ramos compared to the first fight, that's where, and I hope Netflix keeps it up there, because I think people need to understand that first fight, the contrast between the first and the second fight is exactly why the guy in the fourth fight, Jake Paul, will never, ever, ever. And this isn't, and I don't dislike Jake Paul. I'm not saying, I mean, listen, if he becomes a heavyweight champion, I'll give him all the flowers in the world, because that will be damn near impossible. But Jake Paul could fight the 20th ranked heavyweight in the world right now, and he would get hurt. He would get hurt, because chances are the 20th ranked heavyweight in the world has been boxing since he was 5 years old. He's probably got 167 amateur fights, pardon me, and he's probably fought legit contenders. I don't want to take away from what Paul did. Yeah, he was 58 years old, but guess what? He beat Mike Tyson, right? Okay. I mean, listen, there were mitigating circumstances and all that good stuff, but hey, I'll give the kid his flowers. But he tells us that he wants to be a champion. He has no intentions of being a champion, because he knows he will never be one. This is why, and as a matter of fact, he actually tweeted Conor McGregor today that he's going to go down to one. Like, I think he said he's going to come down to 170, or McGregor is going to go up so that they can have some match. I know you won't do it, like like a troll or whatever. And I'm like, dude, now you're just running around beating up old guys and retired fighters that are not in the boxing discipline. He knocked out, he fought Anderson Silva, he fought Tyron Woodley. You get those guys in an MMA ring, they would have destroyed Jake Paul. This is why McGregor McGregor was in the ring, because McGregor would destroy Mayweather in the octagon. Jake Paul, if Jake Paul had any fucking balls, he'd go to the octagon, but he doesn't have those. Listen, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you don't take risks by putting on the gloves and fighting somebody, but there's a lot more risk in the octagon than there is the squared circle. And we know Jake Paul is not going anywhere near the octagon if he knows what's good for him.
Yeah. Am I the only one who saw, or was it you guys that sent it to me, a video of Andrew Tate challenging Jake Paul?
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, that was
a that's a fun. Was it? Is it? Yeah. I saw it today for the first time, and I would pay to see that fight.
Oh, yes.
That would be great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Andrew Tate versus Jake Paul. And you know what? Honestly, I think they should do a kickboxing match. That's what I think.
I'm down. Now, to bolster your point about boxing being a strategy game, I don't think there's been a fight that exemplified that more than Mayweather versus Pacquiao.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that fight. Everybody thought Pacquiao should have been the winner.
Bruh, May 2nd, 2015. Yep. Dude, I smashed a girl. Listen, I ended up becoming a fuck buddy of a girl named Jennifer who was at the fight party. Remember that like it was yesterday. It was damn near 10 years ago. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I remember everybody thought Pacquiao should have won the fight, because he looked the more aggressive. Well, he looked the more, somebody like me who doesn't know the intricacies of boxing, but I've learned them since. At the time, I thought Pacquiao should have won because he looked the more aggressive fighter. I think he threw more punches. I don't think he landed more punches. But to me, to the layman observer, it looked like Pacquiao should have won the fight. But no, Mayweather won the fight. Then I started learning why he won the fight. He used the strategy. He tired out Pacquiao, and then he did his thing. But Mayweather, that looking back at it now, that was a superior performance for Mayweather.
Yes, absolutely. I've heard fighting against Floyd Mayweather, I've heard, is like fighting somebody on radar. I think in my opinion, I think Floyd Mayweather is probably either the best or the second best or 1A defensive fighter I've ever seen. Number one in my book is Pernell Whitaker. I have never, and I mean never, seen a more elusive fighter than Pernell Whitaker. Mayweather comes close, and he's looked better than Pernell Whitaker. God rest his soul. He died at 55, a few years back. But yeah, that was a brilliant performance by Floyd Mayweather. The reason why people thought that Pacquiao won that fight is because of the crowd. The crowd did not want Mayweather to win the fight. So anytime Pacquiao had Mayweather in the corner and trying to score points with the body, Mayweather wasn't pressed. He's just, all right, cool, I'm just gonna hold the phone, blah blah blah. Everyone rose up and this and that and the third. But that, I mean, and it's funny because I've actually gotten a lot of these wrong. I remember Canelo versus Triple G. I thought Triple G won the first match, but it ended up being Canelo. And everyone else around me was like, yeah, Canelo definitely won that fight. I was like, okay, maybe I need to watch boxing a little bit more.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is anyone at the level of Tate or McGregor that could bring in, I think there was 20 million Netflix watchers for this fight. Is there anyone other those two? because I think what Jake's purpose is to get attention on himself, to get a celebrity angle for himself, because Tyson was the bigger draw on this one. I think Jake Paul wants to make himself the draw.
Yeah.
Like in a few years.
But honestly, from a boxing standpoint, I don't think he's ever going to be that.
No.
Yeah. No.
From a celebrity standpoint, he's the A side. But if he really boxes, he's going to be in the B side. Jake Paul is never going to get a title shot. Listen, in terms of the legitimate boxing, Jesus Christ, the sanctioning body, the WBA, WBO, WBC, the best case scenario for Jake Paul is maybe fighting in the first undercard of a middleweight title fight in Las Vegas somewhere, and he will absolutely get his clock clean. That's the furthest he's going. But Jake Paul is never going. He had a chance to fight Hasim Rahman Jr., and he pulled out of that fight. You want to know why? Because Hasim Rahman Jr. is a legitimate puncher. He's a legitimate fighter who would have absolutely hurt Jake Paul. Bill in the chat says Donovan doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, I'd like to know why. And if you don't tell me why, I'm going to ban the fuck out of you. You can't just, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, tell me why. I'm open to having a discussion. Fastback GT says, last night was a Rocky Balboa script. Look, maybe it was fixed, maybe it wasn't. I'm not the guy. I want to talk about, look, who knows? Yeah. I want to talk about the fight. I don't give a shit about scripts and this and that and a third. If it was fixed, cool, great. But hey, at least we didn't have to pay. All we needed was a Netflix subscription. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think, dude, imagine okay, so there's only a few people that Jake can bring up to this level of like a Mike Tyson. Because, dude, this is a very good night for Netflix, getting 20 million watchers. And we saw this with Amazon with the NFL. Their servers started to crash and the buffering issues. Amazon does that every single Thursday. It's wild. And there's not many people that can bring in those crowds. Dude, I could think of, what if you put Jake Paul against Brock Lesnar? That would be wild.
No.
Yeah, Jake Paul would never.
You know who I think might? You know who I think might be a fun name to watch? Would definitely, I would pay to see it. Rob Gronkowski.
Oh
God, Gronk, Jesus Christ!
I think he'd do it.
Oh, boy. I think he would too. Here's something else I'll say. Last night, if I'm not mistaken, 20 million people watching. I think that's the most watched event in boxing history. Maybe, I guess, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know if Ali Frazier back in 1971, I don't even know that 20 million people knew about it. It was back in 1971. There was no internet. But I think it was probably the most watched event in boxing history. Probably. Last night was not a boxing match. It was an exhibition. And to me, the fact that is the most watched event in boxing history, that speaks to how far boxing has fallen. Nobody watches boxing anymore. We don't have, and I think a big reason why is because we don't have an American heavyweight champion. Anytime we have right now, it's Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. I think is still Tyson Fury is not even the lineal champion anymore. Whatever the case may be, we don't have a Mike Tyson or an Evander Holyfield. Boxing's mainly being dominated by the Klitschko brothers, who are reiterations of Ivan Drago Jr. And so I think it's sad that we're sitting here talking about Jake Paul versus Rob Gronkowski on pay-per-view. Look, man, the only reason why, and here's the thing, I would not have bought this on pay-per-view. I would not have bought this.
Oh, hell no.
No. I would not have bought this fight on pay-per-view. And the reason why I wouldn't have bought the fight on pay-per-view is because it wasn't really a fight. It was just an expedition.
Yeah.
Because think about that.
If it had been on pay-per-view, you could have gone on YouTube 20 minutes later and found out how that's all you need.
Yep, I totally agree. Go ahead, please.
Think about the best fighters come from places of abject poverty and stuff where they had to fight to get noticed. And Mike Tyson came from New York. Do we live in such luxury now in the States that we just can't breed like a hungry fighter anymore? And I think what killed boxing was MMA. Because most of the top fighters are going in there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, if you're a decent fighter, I mean, dude, MMA. Listen, man, the Fertitta brothers. I mean, it's UFC is a global sport. They go all over. Boxing is just not that anymore. And I think the reason why I think one of the main reasons why boxing has sort of tanked over the last couple of decades is because there's not one governing body. It's just promoters. It's the WBA. It's Oscar De La Hoya. It's Mayweather Promotions. There's no governing body. So there's no one to answer to. And I think when you convolute the sport like that, eventually people are going to lose interest because there's not one governing body. Ostrike with the $5 super chat says Mike Tyson had no business entering the ring like that. He looked 68, not 58. Jake, surprise, surprise, exaggerated his killer instinct. WWE boxing. No, Mike was fine. Mike was fine in the ring. And it's funny. Jake Paul hit Mike Tyson with some pretty good shots. And Mike Tyson was never close to being knocked down. He was never close to being knocked down, man. Just like Lennox Lewis said, Mike Tyson can take a punch. Look at his neck. Okay, yeah, the man was 58 years old, but look, I'll tell you what. I'll never fight Mike Tyson, and I don't think anybody ever would fight a Mike Tyson. Jake Paul was the one that was crazy enough to do it. He is very, very fortunate that he was able to fight Mike Tyson after he got his AARP card, but he never really hurt Tyson. It was, it wasn't really a good match. It was kind of a run around. It was kind of a hunty type of deal, and Jake Paul ended up getting the decision. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I had nothing.
Oh, I thought you had something. Ken Rose with a $2 super chat. Appreciate that very, very much. Thrilla72. Whoops. Thrilla72 says, we talking Brock Lesnar? Then yeah, I'm sure that guy is human. My Ice Dragon Kid says Mike's defense was still solid. Absolutely. And then Ice Dragon Kid again says, it just feels like too much of a business now. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, boxing has really, I don't know that boxing will come back to where it was. Dude, boxing in the 80s, the 80s and the 90s, that was, to me, that was the golden age of boxing. It seemed like every 3 months there was a De La Hoya versus Trinidad, Bernard Hopkins versus Sugar Shane Mosley. I mean,
Tyson Holyfield.
Yeah, Tyson Holyfield, Lennox Lewis Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, recently Anthony. I mean, but again, I think because we don't have a governing body and we don't have an American heavyweight champion, I think that's I think those are two of the main reasons boxing has tanked. Yeah,
you're going to need similar to what happened to college football. I think you need something to come in to just make a complete, this is the product and this is the title you're going for, and make a prestige title. But dude, how do you elevate a title like that if you don't have another boxer? Most of the boxers are late, in their 50s and 60s, so it's tough.
Boxing fans are starting to age out. I'm a huge boxing fan, and I'm less than 3 years away from turning 50. And I don't watch, I'll watch a fight every once in a while if I'm turning it to ESPN or Friday Night Fights. But I think honestly, I think the last legit boxing pay-per-view I bought was Mayweather McGregor. It's been nearly 10 years since I bought Mayweather McGregor, right? But that wasn't a legit fight. That was Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. That was a cash grab. I just think it's. I just think it's a sad. I remember back in the day. I wasn't even alive then. Back in the 50s and 60s, the two main sports were boxing and horse racing, right? The cigar sports, right? The guys with the press cap. Now you guys, just like you guys said, MMA is number one. I'll give you guys the last word on this.
I think the only way you can do it is because Mayweather's undefeated, you make a tournament to get a number one contender, and you try and get Mayweather to be beaten by him. Yeah, that's the only way you can elevate like a complete champion.
Yeah, you'd have to make it like a reality show, and that's a shame. That is a shame. And I think, Blaze, you made a very good point, man. Life is even for people who are lower class. Life is still better for lower class people than they ever were for lower class people back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Like I said, man, Mike Tyson was raised in Brownsville, fucking Brooklyn. That nigga came from the Catskills. That dude had to win. That's where the killer instinct came from. Because if Mike Tyson wasn't going to be a professional fighter, what the hell was he going to do with his life? No, he had to make this work, and that's why he made it work.
My last point. Oh, go ahead.
Blaze, then yeah, Joel, go ahead.
Okay, look at the Philippines and how terrible, like the poorest people live, and
Yeah.
look at you can get AC even being poor.
Yep.
You can get plumbing, indoor plumbing.
Food.
We have so many amenities here. We live the more comfortable lives of anyone in history,
Yes.
even if you're the poorest among us.
Here's your political stat for the day.
Okay.
Just to bolster that point, if you live in the United States since the year 2000, even with all the poverty we might have and all the injustice we might have, you're still in the richest 4% of the world population.
Of course.
Yeah.
So, those disadvantages are going to come to the forefront in an international sport like boxing.
Yeah.
And lastly, I'll say, I mean, I would love to see some kind of tournament format for boxing. Unfortunately, I don't think the sport lends itself to that.
No.
So I'm not sure it'll ever make a resurgence like it used to be.
Yeah, and it sucks because, like I said, the golden age of boxing for me was the 80s and 90s. I know there were a lot of great fights, especially the middleweight division in the 1970s. Heavyweights, George Foreman, good God, Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. I mean, and all of those guys were American boxers. Dude, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran. Holy moly, dude. My brain is exploding right now. Thomas Hearns, Marvin Hagler. I mean, American fight. We don't have the best American fighter we have right now is probably Terrence Crawford. But
honestly, if you think about it, the best boxing nowadays probably happens at the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's probably the purest form of the sport right there.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I think back to the movie Warrior, where they got 10 of the baddest people ever.
Movie.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine if you had like somebody with money and you were able to make backstories for each one, but you took the hungriest MFers in the country and just got a tournament. And so everyone had like a sort of like a backstory, but dude, you just had a Cinderella story like of all the people.
Yep.
That's the only way you could make it work.
Dude, by the way, go watch that movie Warrior. Joel Edgerton, Tom Hardy, Angeline Lilly, a couple other people. Very, very good fucking movie. Really good movie.
And Kurt Angle was in it too.
Yes, he was. Yeah, that was back when he was still on the pills. I'll strike with the $5 super chat. Says, I'll fight him.
Stop the cap.
No, you won't. Let's see. V keeps it low key. Says, worst fight ever. Armando Moreno says, that fight last night was shameful. I wish it never happened. SMH. Fastback GC says, Thomas the Hitman Hearns. Level up, man. This is a very good point. He says, the most impoverished American in 2024 has a higher standard of living than John D. Rockefeller did 100 years ago. We as Americans are spoiled. Absolutely. John D. Rockefeller was a billionaire with a B 100 years ago, and I live better than he ever did. And so when you have, and listen, we're almost victims of our own success in that regard, right? I mean, listen, we want to live these nice lifestyles. Unfortunately, to become a great athlete, especially in the sport of boxing, where you are literally risking your life, you have to come. You can't come from a middle class family. You can't grow up on Main Street.
Mm-hmm. Think back to The Dark Knight Rises. Victory has defeated you.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what Bane said to Batman. Victory has beaten us.
Victory has defeated you. That is very, very good. Here's one thing here before we move on, and I gotta keep this brief. Before I was actually talking to Dev. Speaking of Muhammad Ali, I was actually talking to Dev the other night. I was like, you know what? Of all athletes, celebrities, entertainers, it doesn't surprise us that Ludacris is from Atlanta, right? Ludacris could have been from Atlanta, could have been from Florida, Southern guy. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy. Now he's going to be in prison soon, but listen, he's a New Yorker. Now let's go to the boxing, right? Thomas the Hitman Hearns is from Detroit, Michigan, the Motor City Cobra. He looked like the Motor City Cobra. Roberto Duran, Hands of Stone, Mexican fighter. Julio Cesar Chavez, Mexican fighter. Oscar De La Hoya, East LA, good-looking Hollywood guy. I think the most surprised I am of any boxer's hometown is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is from Kentucky. I just thought that was, I
did not know that.
Muhammad Ali was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, they're both from Texas. They're country boys. We've got California fighters, Southern California fighters. Muhammad Ali is from Kentucky. Just let that sit. It just an observation.
I had no idea.
King Life in the house says, I think the fight was rigged. Jake paid Tyson off. Might have been, because Tyson just did not throw that many punches. King Life says, I didn't see the fight because I was busy sleeping to win gold today. Very nice, King Life. All right, very good. Let us change topics. We're going to move to the NBA. Well, Caitlin Clark could participate in NBA All-Star Weekend in first of its kind competition. Let me quickly read this. Caitlin Clark and Klay Thompson could be the latest additions to the NBA's All-Star Weekend three-point shooting competition. Last year, Sabrina Ionescu and Stephen Curry faced off in the first of its kind challenge, with Curry edging out the WNBA star 29-26. This year, Clark and Thompson could be joining the competition. On Friday night, ESPN insider Shams Charania said the competition could expand to include the WNBA Rookie of the Year and the four-time champion. Quote, sources tell me that Curry and Ionescu are continuing discussions on bringing back that shootout, Charania said. There is plans for that, but also potentially including Klay Thompson and Caitlin Clark in the competition this year. I like the idea. I like the Stephen Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu, but I think it was lackluster because we all wanted to see Caitlin Clark. Yeah, shout out to Sabrina Ionescu. She ain't Caitlin Clark. We don't want to see Caitlin Clark versus Klay Thompson. Let Sabrina Ionescu go against Klay Thompson. We want to see Stephen Curry versus Caitlin Clark. So, Jay Blaze, you're the one that sent me this particular article. What are your thoughts on this?
See, the NBA, their ratings are tanking, and I don't hate it that they need Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, of anyone, has been the biggest American to be elevated in any sport.
She's the golden goose.
Yeah, she's the golden goose. Why not use her in the NBA? And it helps her profile too, because she's going to bring over the people watching the NBA. It's a win-win for the WNBA, her, and the NBA. I think it's a win all around.
No, I agree. I think it would be. And look, I'm not really I don't watch women's sports. I just don't. Apparently, they're starting a women's lacrosse league. What the fuck are they doing? Then they're also, I think it's Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart. They're starting this. They're starting a women's 3-on-3 basketball league. Dude, we don't watch the men's 3-on-3 basketball league. What the fuck makes you think we're going to watch bitches play basketball 3-on-3? Ain't nobody watching that. That's the bottom line. But the one exception, I actually like the Sabrina Ionescu versus Stephen Curry angle from last year. What are your thoughts, Miami J?
Look, honestly, I didn't watch. I don't think I've ever seen a WNBA game in my life. Let me ask you this: Are the 3-point lines at the same distance for the NBA and WNBA?
I don't know, but I remember last year they shot. I remember Ionescu and Curry shot on the same court. So
okay, if they shoot on the same court from the same distance, and I have no issue with this. If the NBA wants to cross promote with the WNBA, they're subsidizing them anyway. They might as well do it.
Well,
so I have no issue with it.
DMC 2021 says beach volleyball is amazing, especially the Brazilian team. Yes, I am a big fan of. I'm a big fan now. That is one female sport I will watch is beach volleyball. I will watch beach volleyball all day long.
Another female sport that gets subsidized and nobody watches is the NWSL, the National Women's Soccer League.
The what?
Exactly.
Wait, what is the what?
And the NWSL is the National Women's Soccer League.
Oh my god,
that exists. If you guys,
dude, oh my, how many? What are there? 4 teams, dude? Oh my god.
No, there's actually like 12.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah,
but now
they're being subsidized.
Trend in Europe now. Every freaking English team has a freaking women's team.
Oh well, that's because the world values soccer more than America does.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It's almost like a mismatch of resources. If the United States cared about soccer as much as the rest of the world did, then we'd have the Premier League over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Liga, Copa America.
Well, you know what? And we the thing is about, you got to separate men and women's soccer. We basically invented women's soccer, which is why we're 4-time World Cup champions.
Yeah, well, right.
But the rest of the world's catching up, and I don't think we're going to catch back up once they do.
No.
I don't think we're going to stay ahead.
No, I agree. Ostrich says women's lacrosse is a non-contact and small pockets, so it's almost a different sport than men's lacrosse, more finesse-based, but no one watches men's lacrosse either. Yeah, I mean, I think the only lacrosse match I've ever seen was the Duke lacrosse team. That was it. I just wanted to see how they play because, of course, Duke lacrosse and all that. Fred Casillas says, I only enjoyed women playing tennis before the UFC came along. Now, that is one female sport that I have watched and still do watch on the regular. Yeah. Women's tennis, women's tennis, that is a great product. Listen, I watch men and women's tennis. As a matter of fact, I think I probably watch the women more than I do the men. Exception to the rule, but tennis can be a very feminine sport as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And the women have better rallies. So the men get a bunch of aces because they hit the ball super hard.
It's the same as men's volleyball. If you watch men's volleyball, dude, you're not getting 8-point rallies. Dude, it's served. Dude, when the guys go up and spike it, dude, they are hitting the ball a ton. It's violent out there, man.
Yeah.
Flower of Life Collection says Kornikova grunting. Yeah. Pete Ups.
Oh, Sharapova.
Yeah. That was Maria Sharapova, right? Yeah. Get that straight, Flower of Life Collective. Yeah. Anna Kornikova was never grunting unless she was on her knees. So
yeah,
that is what it is. All right, let us move to our next topic. This one is very interesting, yet very predictable. So 49ers star defensive end, Nick Bosa was fined for wearing a MAGA hat. The story goes, the San Francisco 49ers defensive end Nick Bosa was fined. Hold on. I got to make this bigger because I'm an old man. Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry about this, guys. $11,255 by the NFL for wearing a Make America Great Again hat during post-game interview last month, a league source told ESPN. Bosa, after a victory over the Dallas Cowboys on October 27th, wore a white hat with Make America Great Again in yellow letters when he barged in on a post-game interview involving teammates George Kittle, Brock Purdy, and Isaac Guerrero. According to league rules, players are prohibited from displaying a personal message or non-sponsored branding, quote, at any point throughout game day when visible at the stadium and TV audience, including post-game interviews in the locker room or on the field. So you mean to tell me that we are going to fine Nick Bosa for wearing a Make America Great Again hat, but we're going to allow players to kneel for the national anthem? What the fuck are we doing? Blaze, what are your thoughts here? This is ridiculous.
Okay, so Nick Bosa had the highest rated or selling jersey since he wore this.
There you go.
And you had in the NBA when they were doing the COVID thing, the league, dude, they were doing slogans social slogans. It's fine if you say, hey, don't do anything, but say it to the people pro and the left too. But if you just treat it like the UFC, he allows anyone to say anything, and that's where we need to get to. And Bosa, NBC took the clip and edited it, and then they got called out for it. So then they had to edit it back. And dude, it's just wild. We are so polarized in one direction. It's just crazy. And so
crazy, man.
Oh yeah, and you have multiple sports because you had the Red Sox player say the F word during a game, and his jerseys shot up the roof. And then Harris Buckner had his speech.
Oh yes, I remember that. They tried to cancel him too.
The jersey sales shot up the roof, and so you're seeing the people on the right just go, "No, we're embracing this guy. We don't care." But if you had people actually being able to talk, either side, then you wouldn't have these these wild moments. But it's just wild, and I just think it's hilarious that in San Francisco, because after the
yes, in San Francisco of all places, I didn't even think about that angle. Wow.
The league waited until Trump was elected, waited until the election to fine him, and then during his sack celebration, him and his entire defensive lineman did the Trump dance after he got a sack. So not only is Bosa a MAGA fan, his entire defensive line in San Francisco, and I think it's hilarious.
dude, it is absolutely fucking hilarious. Miami J, I'll give you the last word on this.
Look, I'll say about this, and to me, it's not about wearing a MAGA hat. He could have been wearing an Obama hat.
Yeah, sure.
This is not
Gonna be
freedom
Right.
by any means.
Right.
This is the kind of violations of freedom of speech that Trump really should be going after, not
Yep.
necessarily whatever a private industry like YouTube does. Having said that, the only people this really hurts, and I really wonder why, is the high-level execs who read Twitter and get butthurt, and they need to be politically correct for some reason. The fans couldn't give a damn. In fact, if the NFL hadn't fined them, nobody would know about this.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Nobody would know that he wore a damn MAGA hat, except the liberals who get butthurt. Lastly, I'll say I have no issue with the NFL fining him if they do want to enforce their rules, rules and regulations, but enforce them across the board.
There you go.
If that's your rule, any athlete not sponsored by Nike that's wearing a Nike shirt during a press conference needs to get fined the same fine. When Colin Kaepernick comes out and praises Fidel Castro during the press conference, he needs to get fined.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
That's it. Enforce it on everybody, and then I'll have no problem with it.
Okay, very good. The best of us says MAGA is a terrorist group's kneeling-eyed constitutional. Then he says, bring me on, I'll debate you and win. Yeah, there's just one problem with that. This didn't make any fucking sense. Let me let you in on a little secret, the best of us. You can get the fuck out of here, bruh. Because, yeah, you might be able to come on and debate me and win, but guess what? Trump is still your president, motherfucker. You're butthurt and you're fucking mad. Fuck you. The fuck out of my... This is a sport... Dude, this is sports talk. This ain't fucking... I'm not gonna bring on some fucking loser like you to debate. Who the fuck are you? Destiny? Get the fuck out of here, you fucking loser. Bring me on, I'll debate you and win. I don't give a shit. Trump's still the president, bruh. Now go fuck yourself.
I don't even have a podcast. I'll whoop his ass.
Yeah, dude.
Debating? Come on, get out of here.
Dude,
I'm not even a Trump fan, and I'll debate him.
I don't give. All right, you're not even. Look, I don't give a fuck. Trump's still the president, bruh. You can argue till you're blue in the face, fam. Like, guess what? Trump is still gonna take office. Now get mad.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Like it or not.
Yeah. Okay. Let us go to. We're actually having to cut this a little bit short today because I've been getting female consultation clients at an increased rate. It's absolutely crazy. The best of us, it's over. I'm not bringing anything. Like, you're some loser. Get the fuck out of here, man. Give me a break. So we are going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do our game picks. Let me go ahead and get.
I apologize for the angle, but I need to record our picks.
You're okay. Miami J is live streaming from his closet today.
Yes, I am.
Live streaming from his closet today.
An undisclosed location.
Undisclosed location. Okay, so the first game has already been taken care of. The Philadelphia Eagles absolutely dump trucked. Didn't really dump truck, but listen. Oh no, not the Cowboys. I'm talking about the Washington Commanders. The Eagles are now in first place and currently the 2 seed in the NFC. Let us go to the first game of the day. This actually is one of the games of the day. The Baltimore Ravens getting 3 points on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jay Blaze, who you got? Who do you have? Do they cover? Pardon me. And are you taking the over or the under?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Steelers since they're on a hot streak since bringing Wilson in. I'll have them. Okay. I have the Steelers.
Okay, who do you got? Miami J.
I too have the Steelers.
So you got the Steelers, okay?
I got the Steelers and I got the over. I think this could be one of those shootout games.
Okay, very good. I've got the Ravens. I think the Ravens need this game more than the Steelers because if the Steelers win, they're going to have a 1.5 game lead in the AFC North, which is not really as good a division as last year. Lamar Jackson is playing at an MVP pace. I'm definitely going to take the over because Baltimore's defense is absolutely trash. It is absolutely trash. So I'm going to take the Ravens, and I think they're going to cover. I think the Ravens are going to win this. I think this is going to be like a 31-27 game.
Okay.
All right, very good. Let's move to the next game. The Jacksonville Jaguars on the road against the Detroit Lions. Oh boy. Over under a 47.5. That is high. The Lions are almost 2 touchdown favorites. They get 13 and the hook. Miami J, who you got, and do they cover?
I got the Lions. I think they cover. Having said that, 2 days ago, I don't know if you guys saw it. 2 days ago, the over on this game was 45, and I took that bet. So I don't think there's a lot of distance between 45 and 47. So I'll take the over because I think Detroit scores 38 easy.
Oh, very good. Love it. Who you got, Miami, Jay?
I just told you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jay Blaze.
I'll take the Lions because the Jags, they're just waiting to fire their coach. They're a train wreck. And I'll take the over.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's across the board here. Trevor Lawrence isn't playing. They're starting Mac Jones. I think the Lions, dude, I'm going to take the over, and I think the Lions are going to win this game by 3 touchdowns. Jacksonville is absolute trash. Game on the docket, the Los Angeles Rams on the road, getting 5.5 points against the break up the Patriots. They've won 2 of their last 3. They're at home. Pardon me. They're at home, where they are 1-3. Jay Blaze, who you got? Are you taking the over/under, and who is covering?
I'll take the Rams because they're still in the chase, and I don't know who did the Patriots beat last week. They upset a team.
Yeah,
but
I forgot who it was, but Chicago was the Bears.
Oh yeah, the Bears. They're terrible. Yeah, I'll take the Rams, and I guess I'll take the over.
Okay, very good. Miami J, who you got?
I got the Rams, and I got the under. Actually, I don't think this is going to be a very high-scoring game.
Okay, I would like to take the Rams because I have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp on my fantasy team. Something is, listen, the Rams are flying to the East Coast, and this is also a 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard start. They just got their asses handed to them by the Miami Dolphins, so I think they got exposed a little bit. They've got a young defense that's very good, but Tua and the boys went up and down the field. Short week, they're going cross country. They're going across 3 time zones. I don't think the Rams can overcome that, so I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Patriots to upset the Rams at home. I generally like to take home. Yeah, underdogs at home against a team from the opposite coast on a short week. I'm going to take the Patriots to win outright. The next, now this is an interesting game. The Cleveland Browns, the Jameis Winston-led Cleveland Browns, going to New Orleans to face Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints. They are 2.5-point favorites. Miami J, who you got and who covers?
I got the Saints. They'll cover. I don't see how Cleveland can be a favorite here. I really like the Saints at home on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, Cleveland's got the better defense, but I still think New Orleans can overcome it.
Okay. All right.
At 44.5, that sounds like a 50-50 shot. I'll take the under.
Okay. All right. Jay Blaze, who you got?
I guess the Saints really like their interim coach because I guess he talked about taking a big dump earlier that day, and for some reason they played for him. So I'll take the Saints, and yeah, I'll take the over.
Okay. I think the Browns are going to win this game. I think the Saints are. Anytime a team fires their head coach, I think teams have like a winning percentage of like 700 the week after they fire their head coach. So they fired Dennis Allen and replaced him with the special teams coordinator. Not only that, the Cleveland Browns have, I think, the number 5 defense in the league. And I don't think the Saints are going to win. I think the Browns are going to go into the Superdome, and I think they're going to beat them. I think they're going to beat them by a touchdown. I think it's not going to be a blowout, but they're going to beat them by a touchdown. So give me the Browns to win outright. Our next game, Indianapolis. The 4-6 Indianapolis Colts have decided to go back to Anthony Richardson, which was clearly the right thing to do. They are 3.5 point underdogs against the 3-7 New York Jets, who's, two of their 3 wins are against one of the worst teams in the league in the New England Patriots. The other one is possibly the worst team in the league. The Jets have beaten the Patriots twice and the Titans once. They're a bad football team. Jay Blaze, who you got in this one?
Dude, the Jets are so disappointing. But I'll take the Jets because I don't trust Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
I'll take the Jets to cover.
Okay.
All right. So the Jets are going to cover. Miami J.
Look, I watched Anthony Richardson in college as a Gator. I think the kid's got a point to prove. I think he's a lot more resilient than people give him credit for. I'll take the Colts here.
Okay. This was a tough one for me too. Spread wise, I would take the Indianapolis Colts, but I think the Jets win in an ugly game. It's going to be like a 17-16 type game. So give me the Jets, but they do not cover. I'm going to take the Jets to win outright, but I think they win by 1, possibly 2 points. Definitely not going to win by more than 3.5. This one, the Tennessee Titans are at home hosting the second place Minnesota Vikings, who are 7-2. Now the Vikings have lost, I think, their last 2 of their last 3. So they're looking for a point to prove they are getting 6.5 points on the road. Miami, J, who you got and who covers?
This is one of the games in my I do like a 5-team parlay every week, and that's pretty much what I bet.
Okay.
I got the Vikings here. I would take the over. No, I would take the under, actually. I don't think Tennessee is going to put a lot of points up.
Okay.
I got the Vikings. I got them covering, but I can see this being like a 24-7 game.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Jay Blaze.
I'll take the Vikings. I do think the Titans are a well-coached team, but their QB, they need to get another QB.
Dude,
I'll take the Vikings.
Ever.
He has no situational awareness.
None. So you're going to take the Vikings. Are you gonna take them to cover?
I'll take him to cover. I don't trust the Titans at all.
3 for 3 over here. I think the Vikings are going to win. I think they cover, and I'm going to also take the under. The Tennessee Titans are allergic to touchdowns, so that game has potential to be a blowout. The Las Vegas Raiders going against the Miami Dolphins. Look, man, Tua has said, hey, look, man, the season ain't over. They are 6.5 point favorites at home. Big over under at 45.5. Miami J, they're playing the Raiders. Who you got?
Quick funny anecdote. It's funny that only in Miami do we need to win out the last 10 games of the season, and everybody's talking about playoffs and having hope.
Yeah, right.
But I in this game in particular, I do have the Dolphins winning this one. I do think it'll be a bit of a shootout, though.
Okay.
I'm not sure why I'm getting that feeling, but I'll take the over, and I got Miami, but I got them covering. I can see this being like a 35-24 game.
Okay, very good. Jay Blaze.
I'll take the Dolphins because I don't know what the Raiders are doing well at all.
Yeah.
And I'll take the Dolphins to cover. And I'll take the under. I just don't think the Raiders scored that many points.
Yeah, I agree with Jay Blaze. I think Miami wins this game going away, but I'm going to take the under because Las Vegas doesn't know how to score. Yeah, they've got Brock Bowers, but they lost Devontae Adams, who now plays for the New York Jets. So yeah, give me the Dolphins to cover, but I'm going to take the under. The Green Bay Packers getting 6.5 points on the road against the dysfunctional Chicago Bears. The over-under is 41.5. How do you see this one going, Blaze?
See, I'll take the Packers. The Bears, they need a new head coach. They need an offensive head coach. And yeah, I'll take the Packers to cover.
Okay. Miami.
They need a new quarterback too. We have reports of Caleb Williams losing the locker room.
Yeah, man.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it really, really does. And I'm gonna tell you something else here, Miami. You have said that Caleb Williams is going to be a bust, and I did not think that was crazy. But what I'm hearing is, because of course Chicago Bears fired their offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. What I'm hearing around the league is that it's 90% on the quarterback. Shane Waldron was not a problem in Chicago. The problem appears to be Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So at that being said, we got Miami, Jay.
Oh, I got the Packers. Come on.
Okay.
I got the Packers. I'll take the over. 40 is just really low. But yeah, I got the Packers covering.
Okay, very good.
Early on, they screwed up not taking Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
Yeah, they did. Just like the Carolina Panthers screwed up by not taking CJ Stroud.
Hey, all they got to do is watch the chop block every Saturday. We told them here about 7 times, don't draft Caleb Williams.
Don't draft Caleb Williams. We told y'all, and they did it anyway. I don't know why they don't listen to us. Blaze, did you give your pick on this one yet?
Yeah, I took the Packers.
Okay. All right, very good. I'm going to take the Packers. I think they win. I'm going to take the under, and I don't think they cover. I think the Bears are very, very good defensively.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love is Jordan Love has actually struggled this season a little bit. I don't think he's recovered from that MCL sprain against the Eagles, the first game of the season. He appears to be becoming a little bit more erratic with the football. Maybe that changes, but I don't think it changes against a very stout and a very game Chicago Bears defense who actually held CJ Stroud and the Texans at bay, even though they ended up losing that game. So give me the Packers. I'm going to take the under, and they do not cover. Next game,
Jordan Love.
I'm sorry.
Jordan Love has the spirit of Brett Favre within him.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. That's why they gave him the money.
Yeah.
The next game is the Falcons on the road against the 5-5 Denver Broncos. The Falcons lost a stunner last week against the New Orleans Saints. The Broncos are 1.5-point favorites at home. The over-under is 43.5. Blaze, how do you see this one going?
Dude, can we all agree the Broncos should have upset the Chiefs?
Oh, dude,
Dude,
yes.
that was some crazy
Yes, we can
BS
agree.
at the end of that.
Yeah, they should have.
But I'll take the Broncos to bounce back. The Falcons, they're a psycho team. I'll take the Broncos to bounce back, and I'll take I'll have them cover.
Okay, all right. Miami J.
I got the Broncos too. I'll have them cover. I think 2 points is a field, less than a field goal. So I'll take the Broncos to cover here.
I'm going to take the Falcons here. And the reason why I say that is because when the Chicago Bears lost to the Chicago Bears still haven't recovered from giving up that Hail Mary, to Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Caleb Williams and DJ Moore have even said, yes, there's something residual going on. I don't think we've recovered from that Hail Mary. Denver had that game in the bag. They were about to upset the undefeated Chiefs at Arrowhead, and there was a block punt. Completely deflated them. I think it lingers. The Falcons, coming off of a shocking loss against the Saints, they're going to come out gunning with something to prove. Give me the Falcons, give me the Falcons straight up to an outright, and I'm going to take the over because there are definitely going to be some points scored here. The next game, the Seattle Seahawks, the 4-5 Seahawks visiting the 5-4 San Francisco 49ers. They are getting 6.5 points at home with an over-under of 49.5. Miami J, how do you see this one going?
I got San Francisco, but I don't think there's any way in hell they cover. I think this is a game that's going to be won on a last-minute field goal. Having said that, I'll take the over.
Okay.
Isn't too conducive to it, but I like the Niners in a high-scoring, very close game.
Do they cover?
No.
Okay. All
They
right.
don't.
Jay Blaze.
I'll take the 49ers. I won't have them cover, and I'll take the under.
Okay, so you think it's going to be a low-scoring game?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take the 49ers to win, but I'm going to take the under, but I think they cover. I think Christian McCaffrey, clearly Christian McCaffrey doesn't look like himself yet because he isn't in mid-season form. He actually had a pretty decent week last week in his first game of the season. I think this is a breakout game for Christian McCaffrey. I think the 49ers blow out Geno Smith and the Seahawks. They cover, but I'm taking the under. So give me the 49ers to win by more than 6.5. The game of the day are the 9-0 two-time Super Bowl defending champion Kansas City Chiefs on the road, against the 8-2 Buffalo Bills. The Bills are getting 2.5 points at home. Miami J, who you got and who covers?
I'm going to keep betting against the Chiefs until they lose because they're going to lose eventually, so I'll get the Bills.
Okay, very good.
Having said that, the Bills, they'll cover, and
Okay.
I like the over here. I like this being a high-scoring game.
Okay. Jay Blaze.
The internet already has the Chiefs winning because I guess the ref for this game is the guy who called the false start last year against the Bills.
Yes.
But I will take the Bills because this is the best shot of beating the Chiefs.
Yep.
Because the Chiefs are the worst 9-0 team I've ever seen.
Yes.
And I'll take the Bills and they'll take the cover because it's only 2.
That's so paradoxical. 9-0 is 9-0, man.
I agree. Yeah. No, listen, I agree. But guess what? What was it? 5 or 6 years ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers started 11-0. Nobody thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. And what happened in the playoffs? Baker Mayfield and the Browns went into Pittsburgh, went into the big ketchup bottle. That game was over in the second quarter. They got absolutely boat raced. Now, that
you know what? And I'm saying this tongue in cheek. The New England Patriots were the worst 16-0 team we've ever seen.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. But listen, I think the Bills win. I think they're going to blow out the Chiefs. I think they're going to blow them out. I think the football gods have been on the Chiefs side. Dude, listen, the Kansas City Chiefs probably should have lost to the Atlanta Falcons because the referees clearly missed a clear pass interference call. The Chiefs they're starting to get calls going their way, much like the Patriots did for 20 years. And I think the football gods are going to come down on them. And here's the thing, and keep this in mind. Patrick Mahomes has won 3 straight against Josh Allen in the playoffs. Josh Allen has won 3 straight against Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. It's at home. Bills Mafia is going to be absolutely rowdy. Give me the Bills in a blowout. I'm going 35-7. I think it all falls apart for Kansas City.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so the Sunday night game this is an intriguing game. The Cincinnati Bengals, the 4-6 Cincinnati Bengals on the road against the upstart Los Angeles 6-3 Chargers. The Chargers are 2.5-point favorites at home. Jay Blaze, who you got and who covers?
Joe Burrow is one of the biggest disappointments this year. I think he's my MVP pick, but I'll take the Chargers. I just think they're on a roll, and I don't trust the Bengals.
Okay.
So take them to cover.
Okay, take them to cover. Miami J, who you got?
I like the Chargers, but I will say Blaze and I have picked every game exactly the same, so I'm taking the Bengals.
Okay, very good. That is a very good reason. I'm going to take Cincinnati to win too. I think that Cincinnati needs this game a lot more than the Chargers do. The Bengals are they're playing for their playoff lives. They can't drop to 4-7. They absolutely cannot do it. Jamar Chase, dude, he had like 9,000 receiving yards, last game. Yeah. He is absolutely unstoppable. Paul Brown is going to end up paying, paying the money. So yeah, give me the Cincinnati Bengals to beat the Los Angeles Chargers straight up, and I'm going to take the over. And of course, the last game of the day, the Monday Night Football game. It is a Texas-style shootout. CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans on the road against Cooper Rush and the 3-6 Dallas Cowboys. They are getting a touchdown on the road against the Cowboys. Jay Blaze, how's this one shake out?
Now, this is at night, so the curtains won't play a factor in this one.
CeeDee Lamb will actually be able to see the football, right?
Yeah. I'm going to take the Texans because the Cowboys are trash. They're just trash. And I'll take them to cover too. Okay.
Miami J.
I got the Texans. I got them covering, and I think the Texans alone could cover the over. Honestly.
Yep.
I think the Cowboys are that disheveled.
3-4-3. The last 4 games, the last 5 games the Cowboys have played at home have all been blowouts. Going back to last season against the Packers, the Eagles, we just went in there and blew them out. The Saints blew them out at home. They just got blown out by another team they shouldn't have been blown out by. Yeah, I agree. Houston is going to win this game. It's going to be 45-0. I don't even know that the Cowboys even get on the board. Nico Collins is supposed to be coming back. Joe Mixon is having an MVP caliber type season. So give me the Houston Texans. Give me the over, and I will definitely take them to win and cover. All right, guys. We are going to go ahead and cut this short because, of course, I have a consultation. Thank you guys very much for tuning in to the Chop Block Sports Talk, and we will see you guys next week.
Later.